And clap. Looking at the car wash. Oh, at the car wash, yeah. How did you get so much taller than me?
I'm a Capricorn.
I'm 6'4". That doesn't...
Triple Capricorn.
That's not a thing.
Mm-hmm. It's a comfy couch.
But...
Yeah.
But...
I straightened out my spine for your nice.
Oh my God.
For your nice
I'm
show.
still shorter than you. You're in my spot. I look like I'm slouching right now.
No, here.
Hi. Welcome.
Hello.
Would sure do me good, do you good. I can help you. I can help.
Hey guys, CouldHelp here from the CouldHelp channel and W.S. Walker from the Laughing Matters podcast. I am here today with Brianne, a good friend of mine for, how long have we known each other?
Oh, since I got out of high school, so 2016, 2017.
I hit up Brianne maybe like once every couple of months, and I'm like, hey, we should jam, we should hang.
Hey, Jim.
We've got similar energy, and then she out of the blue was like, hey, I'm working on improving myself, and I also am like really kind of focusing on having a better spiritual self. And I was like, well, I'm getting ready to maybe launch a series of interviews with people where I, explain some of this stuff to them, and
one thing led to another.
This happened. You're witnesses, like you can't deny it.
Mm-hmm. It's been observed.
Exactly, it's been measured quantumly. Mm-hmm. Its certainty is certain. Mm-hmm. It's happening. My God, sorry, I've been down the rabbit hole recently on some quantum theory. I've been reading a book by Michael O'Connelly. Well, I'm going to use one of these takes, but he's a former NASA scientist that worked at the Jet Propulsion Lab, the JPL, and he grew up Christian and everything. He tried to resolve his faith because he believed in God. He just needed to understand it a little bit better, and he found him in science like I did. And
through my personal, my own personal journey, I think finding God through science first, and then
helps.
kind of helps, and then kind of like building off that spiritually.
Especially if you're on the spectrum, it really helps.
It really helps. But it's something I think about often. Is like a lot of the time is like I'm really like conscious of like what I'm doing with my body, even if like it's kind of spontaneous. I'm always thinking about like my facial expressions and the amount of eye contact I'm maintaining and the way I'm moving my body. It's just a very confusing scape sometimes.
But it also helps to know, like when you're trying to express yourself, how to express yourself in all these different mediums. And human beings are incredible at basically finding a way to share that which they think or that which they feel or that which they have found, and it was good. And we came up with language. We found ways to express it through the sounds we could make and the shapes we could make with our mouths and our tongues. Like we're like, and I'm gonna shove air at you, and here are my thoughts and things.
Crazy.
Here's up here, just emptying out up here, and let me hit everything that's of all these molecules. They're bumping into each other in the air in a very specific like that's.
We just take this electricity and make it into something everyone else can understand.
Exactly, and we put it, and we find intonation, and we find ways to further color what we're saying by the way we're saying it. And then we're like, you know what, it's not enough that we're saying it when we're saying it. Let's make it stick around. So we figured out ways to make it stick around in written language where you put dark little squiggles on slices of tree, and then your voice can be heard in somebody else's head exactly as you said it. Like your thoughts can withstand millennia. There's so many different ways we've come up with expressing ourselves, but there were things that were not expressible by ways of literal,
I understand,
expressions. Like how we feel is a big one. When you undergo grief, when you undergo being in love, when you all these different things, we found that there's ways to express them in going abstract and not saying it, but saying the things around it, allowing them to see the the process of it, allowing people to see little slices of it in action to describe what it is, or all the, photography, art, music. But there is one that we go to automatically since birth, pretty much. I mean, it's a learned behavior, sure. Non-verbal communications, face movements,
Yes.
body language, and the sounds we make that aren't the word sounds.
My favorite kinds of sounds.
Your favorite.
You can ask anybody every time. Have you met anybody who I have a sound effect for everything? It's almost uncomfortable. I can't stop. I couldn't stop even if I wanted to.
I don't have that many. I do occasionally throw of course involuntarily I'm I'll do a lot of non-verbal language is stuff that you have to pick up and you have to understand it kind of as you go, but a lot of it's almost seemingly automatic for most people. And if I told you an emotion, you could think of it pretty much. You can close your eyes and you can think to yourself of any emotion. Like think of an emotion. Lock one down for me.
I got it.
Think of what it looks like, what it sounds like. Like you can immediately think of the sound, the look. In fact, most of the time it has a descriptor, a word that you can use to describe the sound and nonverbal communication that people, like if it's sad, crying. Which emotion was it?
Anxiety.
Anxiety. Mm-hmm. What is the sound of anxiety?
Oh, it's like a static TV, but it's like hot.
Oh, no. No, I mean, when I say nonverbal communication, when you're trying to communicate to somebody that you feel anxiety, you don't look at them and go,
No, I do. You obviously don't know me.
What's a sound someone would make to express that they're anxious? Yeah,
I've made that one quite a few times.
Okay. Sleep. What's another emotion?
Jealousy.
Okay, what's a jealousy sound?
A jealousy sound. I've made that one before.
That is really good. Mm-hmm. Chin raise, there's all sorts of. Oh, okay. You throw a little sass in yours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sassy.
That's fair.
A lot of sass.
I'm a lot of sass. That's why I don't subscribe to that emotion.
There is one emotion out there that there is no. Let me rephrase. That I can almost guarantee you cannot right now tell me the descriptor word for what the sound and nonverbal communication is. And it's easily the most important one of all the emotions. People have described it as being like oxygen, all you need. It's the only thing worth both living and dying for. That's me, by the way. That's a quote of me. I love that one. Somebody else might have said it at some point, but I came up with that on my own. Love. Right? Mm-hmm. What is the nonverbal sound that you make when you love? What's the nonverbal body language and facial movements that you make when you love? And I promise you, there is one that you can name right now, but it's going to be elusive to you because it's a riddle. It's something that's been hidden from you your whole life. But it's been right under your nose.
I know there's been times with Kelly where it's like, no, I've been feeling the love so hard, like it just makes me want to laugh, or like, just smiling real big, like, I don't know. It's just funny to me that I can love something that hard, that like another person can make me feel that alive.
Brianne, I have asked hundreds of people this question. I talked to a lot of people about this, and you just walked directly into the right answer. But if I said laughter is the sound that we make when we love, most people would argue, I mean, not really, not always.
Laughter's joy, man, and joy and love. I
but it's
feel
not
like
always. Like, you don't laugh because you're loving all the time.
No.
Like, that's not the whole reason you laugh. Like, it does sound like kind of most people You may not need any spiritual help. Good grief. You kind of floored me with that. Most people would argue that, yeah, kind of, but way to steal my thunder. Well, let's roll back. So, Brianne, what would you say is the sound of love? Not a clue, right?
No, I have no
Right.
clue. I don't know what it could be. Tell me, Will.
The reason that it is a riddle is because it's not the kind of love that most people automatically think of. And I think about it, and you and Kelly are both very much the type of people that would get this concept. But when most people think of love, they think about a very aimed variety of it, a type that is sent in a specific direction, because you can't widen it out to everybody. You can't Guys, I'm going to wait till they're pulled away just a little bit. We'll roll room sound real quick because we still haven't done that. Kelson, you had 18 jobs.
Can you do at least one of them?
Very Kelson.
The reason it's a riddle is because he'll never tell you why it's a riddle.
Fair enough.
I figured it out, guys.
But when we are not aiming at love, there's moments when we're like, I've used this example in my book. I've used a lot of this in my book. But this is just the best ways I've found to describe them is like when you're sitting at dinner with friends you haven't seen in a long time and that you adore, or family members you haven't seen in a while. Or, you know, having like that 3 a.m. porch sit with somebody that you adore. And it's just things are quiet and you can't help but laugh. You just love everything and everyone in those moments. You don't have your defenses up. Mm-hmm. You become giggly when you're trying to make that person you love laugh. It's just in those moments your defenses are down. You're not worried about who you're keeping out. You're just letting in. When you're taking a hill on a sled, when you're raising your arms about to do the dip in the roller coaster, your smile turns into a grin, which boils over and cracks into a billion pieces into a laugh, and you let it out into the world, and anybody that catches it gets some. It's the sound of love. We instantly recognize it, and it's musical, and when we feel that way,
Love.
to love.
I love love.
It's a good thing.
Just absolute, just completely like vulnerable, like joy. Like,
Yes.
love that feeling.
Exactly.
Love that feeling.
When you just open up and let in and it just comes naturally. That is the genuine laugh. Trademark pending. But I mean, that's something I have labeled the genuine laugh, is when you just let it out because you're overflowing with joy and love, and you're not concerned about who it hits. You're not concerned about who's going to take advantage of it. But this is the hard part. I talk a lot about on the channel how the secret to happiness is doing for others. It's caring about others. It's loving others. Nobody gets to happiness by themselves. Not real happiness. You can get kind of like a tide you over kind of happiness, like when you do for self, when you buy something you want, when you do whatever for self to try and go for happiness. It's all the excitement's before you get the thing, and then like you get the thing, you're like, all right, and then it just becomes another thing you own so quickly. The best analogy that I've come across, let me look at yet maybe. The best analogy that I've come across so far is essentially one that states doing for self is kind of like eating. What's your favorite candy?
Reese's Pieces.
Oh, I love Reese's Pieces.
Mini M&Ms.
Mini M&Ms.
Yeah, the small ones.
Because you like get more candy coating in it.
They're so much better. I can't.
They are too, aren't they? They're a bit sweeter.
Candy to chocolate ratio.
Interesting. I'm just thinking about getting some on the way home. It's like eating your favorite candy, Reese's Pieces, as many as you want for dinner.
I've done that.
But you don't feel good after. Like, it doesn't feel like you had dinner. You don't feel like you've completed your night. And it just, when you wake up, like, you're not super hungry, but because it kind of sits like a dead weight in there. It's not good. But when you do for others, it's like eating a 3-course meal. It leaves you satisfied and full, and you just, I don't know, you feel satiated.
Better.
And it lasts for longer.
It does. So Reese's Pieces do not last for long.
Unfortunately, there's this other type of laughter out there that, well, it's a bit like that. It's a bootleg laughter. It's like a, $10 Rolex kind of laughter. It doesn't satiate. It doesn't, like, it's a quick little boost, but then it's over as quickly as it was. Yeah, that made sense.
No, it does. It's like when you see a video of a guy and like a bucket hits his head or something, and you laugh and feels good for a second.
I hate you right now.
But it doesn't last
Why
for long.
are you stepping on my lines?
Is that really your line?
Why
Oh
are
my
you
God, I'm
running
so
up on what I'm about to address? How? How did you guess? Okay. Well, yeah, that's where we're going with this. There's this theory out there by Peter McGraw, genius. He's a researcher at the University of Colorado. He wrote a brilliant book, well, co-wrote it with a journalist, where they went around the world and they specifically looked at why each culture laughs. Like, what did they find funny? And
I like that.
yeah, he runs the he runs this institute, which stands for this. I forgot the name of it.
Power of Video Magic.
I'm also going to put up his book, but the thing that struck me was benign violation theory. This man jumped on board with a theory on humor that we've had 3 pretty much over the last several centuries of philosophy. Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, they tried their hand at it, the very first philosophers. Why do we find something funny? They went with superiority complex, which basically said that you feel you're laughing because you're better than them, and you're acknowledging that you're better than them. They had incongruity theory, which was basically that what happened was not what you expected. And then there's relief theory that states that basically that we laugh to show that everything's okay, that it's all right, like whatever scared us is fine, But there's no theory that fit all the different types of laughter. And then this man, and I kind of hate that he came out with it like a year after I discovered mine. And he wrote about it. He did several papers about it. And he did this one brilliant paper in 2014 that everybody should read because it's like a page and a half. And it's just so succinct. But essentially you have a Venn diagram. Ooh, hand me the book. You have a Venn diagram of, it doesn't work as well if I'm not drawing it, I guess. So we have a Venn diagram, which is 2 circles overlapping, and on one side you have benign, right, which is things that are predictable, things that you can see coming, things that are unchanging, things that are safe, things that don't really have any violation to them. And then you have violation. And violation are all the things that make a joke not okay, that take a joke too far. It's that vein of things. And all humor lies somewhere in there. Somewhere, but where it lies, the amount of benign versus violation, the levels are picked based on your relationship between the viewer, the laugher, and the victim. If you're really close, it only takes just a little bit of violation in a perfectly safe setting. Somebody could not even completely trip and fall, but the other person burst out laughing if you guys are besties. you know, and it's made funnier by the fact that they weren't hurt, because you don't want to see them hurt.
No.
Whereas, because we do not care about other people as much when they're fictional, which a lot of readers would argue that, but in general, if you create a fictional character, it's okay to laugh about. You know, you can have the worst things in the world happen to a movie character, and it's hilarious. And then you hear stories on the news, and there's some hilarious stuff there, but those are real people. And then, you know, you see stuff happening in the world when you're out and about, and sometimes we make fun of that.
Yeah.
There's this type of laughter that we have that falls under benign violation, but it tends to be when more violation occurs, because we've seen evidence and we've geared a style of thinking towards, I can get more for myself if I care about others less. The less I care about others, the better off I can be. I can pick my path better. I can make my way towards what I want more easily, and I have a higher chance of getting what I want for me. This is where all that starts coming full circle here. And in this newer focus that we've had, that keeps progressing more and more towards a self-centered kind of hero. All the different capitalistic pushes that we have, in which, you know, it is better to do for yourself, we wind up with the necessity of lowering our compassion, of basically deadening ourselves a bit, so that we don't feel as bad for other people. We don't feel as obligated to help other people. And we use the breaking laugh for that. We use this style of laughter, and you see it in shows like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is an excellent example. I'm sure you can just, off the top now, you know what you're looking for. There's a lot of breaking laugh television out there. There's a lot of breaking laugh movies out there. There's a lot of focus on helping us kill off our compassion just a little more each time. This kind of laughter, again, it's this bootleg version of the real sound. And we're using the sound of loving all to help as a salve on the wound of each time we break our compassion off just a little more. Just each time we pulverize and reduce our ability at empathy a little more, so that we can laugh off things that we don't want to feel bad about, so that we can move past the stuff that we've done to other people that we don't want to feel bad about. It's a training laugh, and it's a breaking laugh. And it's a salve, and it's a dime store knockoff, and that's the breaking laugh. It's any laugh that takes you further from our interconnection, takes you further from each other. And it was from here that I found everything else.